Hi, you guys. Let's do this. So this is chapter 3, and it is really, here we go. This chapter 3 is a short chapter. Okay. Okay, so understanding your residents. All right, so we are going to be talking about basic human needs with our residents. Everybody has psychosocial needs. It involves our interaction with each other, our emotions, our intellect, our spirituality. We all have psychosocial needs. The only difference is the extent of what we need versus what someone else's needs are. So our physical needs, these are needs that we have as human beings. So we need food and water. We need protection and shelter. We need to have activity. We need to have sleep and rest. And we need to have comfort and freedom from pain. And I'm going to put my timer on. So make sure I am time right. Okay. So those are our basic physical needs for every single human being. Okay. You have to have food. You have to have water. If not, you're going to die. You have to have shelter. You can't just live out in the elements. You have to have activity to move around, at least getting up, standing up, sitting down. Your heart is beating. If you don't go to sleep or and rest, guess what your body does? It puts you to sleep anyway, and it makes you rest. So all of this, we don't really have any kind of say over what we don't want here. We have to have food and water. We have to have sleep and rest, and our body will make us want and need all of this. Okay. And then, of course, we can control it, but these are our needs physically. How are we going to help with the basic human needs? We're going to help them to eat. We're going to help them to eliminate. Eliminate means to pee and poop. We're going to assist with bathing and grooming if we need to. Our 6 psychosocial needs, these can kind of vary. Okay, love and affection, acceptance from others or by others, safety and security, contact with others, success and self-esteem, self-reliance, and independence in daily living. And these also vary. Okay, so what happens when we don't get, like you personally, what happens when we don't get love and affection, but we crave it? We get angry, we get sad, we get depressed. What happens if we don't get acceptance by others? Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes we're just like, oh, all right, they didn't accept me. That's good. And then sometimes it is crushing because it might be a loved one. It might be your mom, your sister, it might be your children. Like, whoa, no one is accepting me. I feel a certain way about that. And I need to fix this in some kind of way. So just because you're older doesn't mean that you don't care about being accepted or feeling successful or having self-esteem. It still continues. It's going to continue until you leave this earth. Okay. So how do you feel? Frustrated, stressed, fear, anxiety, just angry. You might have all of these feelings. Okay. So yeah, that's how you feel. I'm sorry, I was texting. All right. So this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you ever go to, whenever you do go to nursing school, you will see this. If you have ever been in any kind of psychology class, you have also seen this. So the bottom is what we need. These are like our basic needs. We need our psychological needs are food, oxygen, elimination, rest, and then it goes up. We'll need some shelter. We need love. We need self-esteem. And then the top is we need self-actualization, need to learn, create, realize one's own potential. The top is less than what we need. The bottom is more of what we need. But Maslow said that we need all of these things. Okay. And it really does make sense. All right. We already talked about masturbation. We're just going to give them some privacy and let them do what they do. Myths: older men are not capable of having sexual relations. That's false, right? Another myth: after menopause, women are not interested in sexual relations. Also false. Number 3, any expression of sexuality by older people is either disgusting or cute. It's neither. They're human beings. They have their own thing going on. We're going to respect that. It's not cute. It's not disgusting. It's just natural. Okay. If it happens right now with us, with you, it's going to happen when you get a little bit older. If you see older adults are elderly people and you see them dating or they're married, don't assume that they've been married for 50 or 60 years. Some people are just like, yeah, we just got married last year. I do this too. I assume. I'm like, whoa, because I've had a habit of asking, how do you, not even how long have you been married, but how do you keep a marriage? And sometimes they're like, oh, we just got married. Like, oh, okay. Well, then I sound crazy. So residents must be protected from unwanted sexual advances. If a nursing assistant sees sexual abuse happening, he should remove the resident from the situation and take the resident to a safe place. Then he should report it to the nurse immediately. Even if it's not a resident, you're going to do that for anybody. If it's a child, if it's an adult, if it's a coworker. And as we said yesterday, we are mandatory reporters. So we're the people that are going to report on what's happening. If we see it, we do need to say something about it. Okay, so spiritual needs. We spoke about this a little bit in the last chapter, but we're just going to respect everybody's spiritual needs. They could be Muslim, they could be Christian, they could be agnostic, where they don't believe in anything. So never try to impose your beliefs on anyone else. Never try to take everybody to church. Maybe they don't want to go to church, or they are a certain religion where you don't understand. They might have a priest come in, they're Catholic. You know, it doesn't mean that they're wrong. Nobody is wrong in this realm. We don't know what they believe until we ask and we're interested and we just talk about it. If y'all have a good conversation, that's fine, but never try to impose your beliefs on them. Okay. Holistic care, we're holistically caring for a patient that is the mind, the body. So psychologically, we're talking to the patient. We're making sure that they're okay, they're comfortable, they're not having any issues. And then physically, we're making sure they're clean, they're clothed, they've been bathed, they're not hungry. So it's just everything, mental health wise and physical. Yeah, it's holistic care. Okay, so if you have your residents coming into the nursing home and they have been independent all of their lives, especially those people that have worked on they've worked, they've lived by themselves, or they have raised children and their children are old too, which I think is fabulous. Or those people that were just fine and then they got into a car accident and they had to go through rehab and now they're in a nursing home because they're not getting better. Everyone that is removed from their home and having to move into a nursing home will feel displaced. They will feel lost because they have lost their independence. They have lost their freedom. They've lost their home. So for us, we're gonna try to make it as comfortable as we can. We become a part of their family. And it is something where it is you might see depression happen or you might see anger happen. They can't drive anymore. You know, they're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner and being told this is what you're eating, unless they're ordering their own food and having it brought in. But who has enough money to do that every single day? And who wants to eat like that every single day? So it's not that they're in prison, but it is a very controlled environment. So you might see some loss happen. Okay, so what does loss of independence do for a person? They might have poor self-image, anger, feeling helpless and useless, increased dependence on you, and depression. Okay, so what are we doing? We're being patient with them. We're allowing them to make choices, and we're just respecting their rights. And if it is, we do this with our kids all the time. They are maybe 3 or 4. They want to get themselves dressed, but it's taking too long, so we just kind of take over. Don't do that with your residents. If it's taking them a long time to get dressed, I know you have 10 other people to take care of, but you're going to have to be patient with them because they're going to get frustrated and mad, and you are making them lose some of that independence because you're trying to get it all done all at one time. And which is really the ideal world too. Okay. It is important for NAs to never treat residents like children. Residents are adults who can make their own choices and should care for themselves as independent as possible. All of that is the truth. And when we do our dressing a resident who has a weak arm, you will see where we're asking them what they want to wear, because even that's a choice that they can make. I don't want to get out of the bed today. I don't want to put that on. I don't want to eat that. Or come back in 10 minutes and we can get it all done. I don't want that person. We talked about that yesterday. I don't want that person to come visit me anymore. Or I don't want that nurse. Now, sometimes they can make that decision and there's enough staff. Sometimes there isn't. Cultural diversity, a different the different groups of people with varied backgrounds and experiences who live together in the world. That is us in the melting pot of Florida, Georgia. That is us in the nursing home. That is us working in hospitals. That's probably us just in our classroom. Culturally diverse. Okay. Oh, we talked about this in chapter 2. Language, religion, food preferences, touch. Culture plays into all of that. Okay, we're not going to cover this, just these slides. You also have in your PowerPoint, chapter 3. It will kind of touch on all of the different religions and dietary practices of all of the religions. So you can just look at that. NA should focus on compassion, being compassionate, respectful, and culturally sensitive. They should treat the residents as residents who wish to be treated whatever way they want to be treated, not as the nursing assistant wants to be treated. This is a part of person-centered care. So a lot of people say, treat them how you would want your grandma to be treated. And that's kind of not the truth anymore. You're going to treat them the way that they want and deserve to be treated, as culturally aware as you are. Okay. All right. So time is up for that. I'm going to come back with one more. Hopefully, I think it's going to just be one more video.